3, 2, 1, go. So I want to show you some cool things with the lathe tool. So I'm just going to hit front. So we're going to use lathe, and we'll use path right here. You can use curve as well, but I usually just use, well, you know what? Let's just use curve. So let's just make a cool vase. So I'm going to start here at the bottom at the line. I'm going to go out. So we want to make it like this. Bring it up. So maybe something like this. Then I'm going to go around, and this is the inner wall of the vase. So then we have a vase like that. Looks pretty cool. So once you're happy with your shape, obviously you can go ahead and adjust it any way you want. But once you're happy with it, which I think I am, maybe I want to add a little something to the bottom. So I'm going to pull this out, add this here. Maybe I can add another little one, make it round. So maybe something like that. I'll go ahead and hit spline. Spline makes it really nice and curvy, so you can adjust that as you wish. It's kind of interesting. Okay, cool. So once you validate, then you have your whatever your shape is. I'm just going to move it to the middle of this. Okay, so it looks pretty good. It's pretty small. You can kind of see, I thought I already named it. You can see that it's got some issues. So if you don't want that, you can go here to the options and you can kind of, raise this a little bit. You can raise the topology, or I think you can just raise this, and that really makes it smooth. But that'll increase the size as well. But that's okay for now. Let's move it up a little bit. All right, cool. So we have our vase. It's looking good. So one thing that I like to do is sometimes I'll use layer, and I'll take it off of sub, and I'll just make this really low. You can adjust the intensity. That's like how much it raises. So maybe something like that is pretty good. I'll make this a little bit smaller. But you can see it's still a little bit too soft. So let's see if we voxel remesh it. Let's see if we do like 300. I'm not really worrying about the size too much, because this will get, the size is going to get pretty high, but we're just experimenting, so that's okay. So let's see how it looks now. Now it looks really good. So it looks nice. Maybe we can even make it a little bit smaller. So something like that is cool. I'll bring it out a little bit. I'm going to raise the intensity because when we smooth it, it's going to go down a little bit. Okay. So now let's do some cool decorations on it. So I'm going to hit front. I'm going to go to symmetry, and now we have this symmetry, but we also want to do the cross symmetry as well. So I'm going to use the red and the blue, the X and the Z. Then we hit front, and essentially it's going to be like this. Let's also turn on line. So I'm going to go here and show line. That way we can see our lines. Okay. I'm so used to having to tilt it to get it straight. So let's do something like this. And just make sure that you turn on symmetry. The worst. Okay, then we have something like that. That's a little ugly there, but I don't know how well I can fix that. Okay, that's a little bit better. We can add some more decorations. Maybe some little leaves. If you've ever drawn anything like Baroque, then you're used to all these leaves and decorations and things like that. So you can do some really cool things like that. Let's do some on the bottom as well. How many times do I have to rename it? Let's do... Okay, so that looks pretty nice. So let's do some other decorations. So let's take select mask and use rectangle. And let's go like this. And now we'll do it on the other side as well. Make a really thin line. Oh, actually we have to mask everything else. Actually, that was the dumb way of doing it. Here's a smart way of doing it. Take select mask and then just make the really thin line. So you make the really thin line and then you invert it. And then you can, oops, shrink the whole thing. It doesn't have to shrink that much, actually. That's a bit much. I didn't really mean for it to go through, but that's all right. So then we have something like that, which is pretty cool. Now let's put something else here. Let's put like a ring, like a kind of like a rope ring. So let's add a sphere. Oh, it's not in the middle. So this is the world center where the sphere is. So let's take our lathe and let's press the gizmo, reset. I think move or I don't think I have to move origin once I reset. But once you reset, I'm just gonna bake it. Once you reset, now it's in the middle. So I'm just gonna replace it on that. So now this is perfectly centered. Let's make it smaller. All right, let's stretch it this way. Let's go here, let's go to add, and we'll add a radial. Actually, we can go ahead and validate this. So now we have a sphere in our radial, so we can spread that apart. Say we bring it down to about here. Okay, and we'll just work on this one for now. So let's make it a little bit smaller, stretch it out a bit. Now let's take it off snap and just rotate it with that red ring. And I have it on a line. That way it's not following the sphere. We just want to keep it on a line. So we'll bring it in like that. And then let's tilt it this way. So now let's go back to our sphere, or back to our radial. So we'll tap on radial and we'll increase this. So we have something like that. So we can go ahead and validate it. Unless you want to add something else or change something. So now we have something interesting like that. We can go ahead and, I feel like we need a little something else. So let's use select mask again. Oops, let's go back here. Let's use select mask underneath and invert it. Let's use the gizmo and maybe we'll make this one a little bit bigger. And we'll clear it. Interesting. Okay, so I'm just going to take everything except for the floor. And let's just say really quick. So let's voxel remesh this together, maybe around 250. And we get a nice crash. But that's why we save before we voxel remesh, because it loves to give us a nice crash. I actually don't get many, but I just want to see if I can make one a little bit prettier. The last one was ugly, but I mean, hopefully it got the point across, but it was ugly. So I'm going to use curve, fixed. Let's see. It's kind of interesting. Alright, let's voxel remesh this. Oh, and I can see these ripples, which means I need to subdivide it first. Now when I voxel remesh, it should work better. Okay, now it's 425 as well. And I like the spheres. I think I want to do some around, oh, maybe right around the top. But let's just do actual spheres. Oh, now we have to move this in the middle. I forgot about that. So reset. Okay. Now we can just work on this one sphere for now. I do like the idea of it stretched. I almost want to put a torus and have it so it's like jewels or something. I think that would be kind of cool. Let's do it. So we have the sphere. I'm going to validate that. Let's bring in a torus. Let's bring it out, shrink it. And there might be an easy way to do this, but so we'll stretch it out. We'll do some stretching, stretch it a little bit. Ooh, I wonder if I can use these other tools as well. Yeah. So that's kind of interesting. And we can do, so we can validate that. And these, both of these, we can add a radial. And we can take this one, let's take this and clone it. Let's move it up. Make it smaller, and then let's move it a little bit. It's kind of cool. Okay. Let's just add some. I do like adding designs, but let's add another Taurus, but we don't want it inside the radial. Happy 4th of July. I really hope it doesn't get too loud. So we'll use our tools up there to make it nice and thin. We'll stretch it. I actually think I can do whole. And oh, I'm thinking of a different tool. Okay, let's clone this. Drag one up here. Let's clone that. Oop. Let's clone that. I swear this gizmo. All right, cool. So let's do symmetry. We'll do the same two. We'll do layer, or we could do, what's another option? Since I already did layer, could do crease. We could do inflate really small too. Turn on symmetry. That design. It's kind of nice. Okay, so I think this is a lot nicer. Much, much, much nicer. I'm just going to join all these. And I guess the radial I'll just leave how it is. But I'll take everything and I'm going to do my... Oh, I remember I have a new iPad now, so I don't have my other colors. So I have to find my terracotta color again. Although that would look nice if it was like a frosted glass green. How nice would that be? I can probably turn the environment on, but turn it down. But this needs to be a different color. That glare looks kind of nice, actually. Guess it's starting. All these dingleberries out there with their fireworks. kind of a nice terracotta color. Oh, let's figure out how I can save this. Something that I always forget how to do. Oh, do I tap here? Clone? Is that what I need? Oh, clone. I feel like any other word other than clone, I would have been able to figure it out. Nice. All right.